The Galactic Compact had never taken Earth seriously. For centuries, it was little more than a curiosity, a noisy, chaotic backwater tucked in the spiral arm of the Milky Way. The Compact's vast network of surveillance drones and listening posts kept watch, quietly cataloging humanity's noisy broadcasts and erratic bursts of space exploration. But the consensus among the Galactic Council was clear. Earth was an insignificant flicker, destined to burn out before it could ever leave its solar cradle. For all their ancient wisdom and advanced technologies, the Compact's leaders had never seen humans as a threat. They studied humanity like an anthropologist might study a tribal village, interesting, volatile, but ultimately harmless. Other species had evolved past such aggressive, chaotic tendencies. Earthlings, with their endless wars and erratic technology, were anomalies in a galaxy that prized order, logic, and peace. But that was before the silence. It began subtly. One after another, Compact monitoring stations near the Sol system started reporting interference, small at first, nothing unusual in a galaxy filled with cosmic storms and technical glitches. But then, the interference grew into blackouts. Drones lost contact, relays flickered and failed. Then suddenly, every Compact probe near Earth went dark. No signals, no transmissions, nothing. The galaxy stared in disbelief. The Sol system, once a beacon of activity, was now a void, an anomaly. In the Compact's vast web of observation, something had happened, something deliberate. Within the High Council chambers on the planet Seldara Prime, a heated debate raged. Elder delegates with millions of years of wisdom argued in low tones, wary but increasingly alarmed. An electromagnetic pulse, suggested a Slarian diplomat, his tentacles twitching nervously. No natural phenomena could disable every probe simultaneously. This was a coordinated event, countered General Vix, commander of the Compact's border fleets. The most disturbing theory came from a young, outspoken human expert working as a Compact consultant. She was one of the few humans tolerated in the council chambers. They shut down all communication on purpose, she said quietly. They want to be invisible. The room fell silent. Invisible. The very idea was preposterous. But on Earth, beneath a clouded sky streaked with orange twilight, preparations moved quietly and swiftly. Humanity's leaders had learned long ago that the galaxy's eyes could be their greatest threat. Earth's chaotic signals and reckless broadcasts had always drawn attention, dangerous attention. So decades ago, a plan was set in motion, a global blackout. Every probe disabled, every transmission silenced. To the galaxy, humanity would disappear, unnoticed, forgotten, invisible. Beneath the surface, Earth was changing. Cities had vanished from old maps, replaced by sprawling underground complexes built to withstand orbital bombardment. Mars, once a barren red rock, blossomed, with green domes and the faint hum of engines. The outer planets hid fleets of black ships, sleek, deadly, and silent. No longer the primitive race the Compact thought it was, humanity had become a ghost fleet, waiting for the moment to emerge from the shadows. That moment was drawing near. The void beyond Neptune, a sleek black vessel slipped silently among the scattered remnants of icy bodies in the Oort cloud. It moved like a predator, unseen, unheard, unstoppable. Its kinetic railguns hummed with cold precision, weapons archaic to the Compact but wielded with terrifying mastery. Inside the ship, Commander Elena Ramirez stared at the flickering holographic map of the galaxy. She was young, fierce, and hardened, by years of secret wars fought far from the eyes of the universe. "Report," she ordered. "Compact probes offline. No patrols detected within standard perimeter," her lieutenant answered. "They don't expect us." Elena's lips curled into a rare smile. "Good. Then let's make sure they never do." Back in the council chambers, anxious murmurs rose. A Compact scout vessel dispatched to investigate the solar system had vanished without a trace. No distress calls, no debris, Just silence. Send the fleet, the High Chancellor commanded. We must know what Earth is planning. But it was already too late. On Earth, as the stars blinked cold and distant, humanity waited for the galaxy to wake up and see the true force it had ignored for so long. Because dust among the stars can hide a storm, and that storm was coming. The galaxy had never seen a warning so clear and so ignored. The compact's warship Vanguard slipped through the black silence of deep space near the outer edge of the Sol system. Its gleaming hull was built for diplomatic missions, not for war. It carried scientists, observers, and diplomats hoping to understand Earth's sudden disappearance from the galactic network. Captain Aaron Tavalis, an experienced Slarian, stood on the bridge, eyes narrowing at the sensor readouts. The Vanguard's scanners detected faint signs of activity, movement on the fringes of the asteroid belt, distant energy spikes near Mars. But no distress signals, no responses to hails. Strange, Aaron muttered. It's like the system is asleep. Her crew scanned again, picking up a flicker near the Kuiper belt. Then came the first warning, a pulse of high-velocity projectiles streaking silently through the void. Incoming, shouted a weapons officer. Before anyone could react, the Vanguard's shields flared as a series of kinetic slugs hammered the ship's hull. The impact was brutal, far beyond anything the compact had expected from a race labeled primitive. The Vanguard shuddered, alarms blaring, shields failing. Hull breach in Sector 4, someone yelled. Captain Aaron's voice was steady, but her mind raced. Return fire, target the source. But the attackers were gone. Like ghosts, the sleek black ships vanished into the darkness. The Vanguard was crippled. Its engines sputtered, systems failing. The bridge shook as power flickered, and then silence. Back on Seldara Prime, the news spread like wildfire. The compact's leaders stared in shock at the live transmission. The Vanguard's last moments, cut short by sudden precise strikes. What is happening? Demanded High Chancellor Ralden, pounding his fist on the council table. The report from the probe drones was chilling. A stealth fleet, armed with archaic but devastating weapons, was hiding in the far reaches of the Sol system. Ships constructed, not from shimmering alloys or plasma tech, but from hardened steel and railguns. No one had seen anything like it in centuries. A compact military analyst grimly summarized, "They have adapted primitive technology and weaponized it against us, using tactics and ruthlessness we thought extinct. This is no longer a primitive world." In a secret war room deep beneath Earth's surface, a coalition of human commanders watched the events unfold on their own secured screens. Phase 1 is a success, said General Arendev, his eyes gleaming with fierce pride. The compact believes we're weak. They think we're just another primitive race to be contained. They will soon realize how wrong they are. We still need to be cautious, warned Commander Ramirez from the Black Fleet in the Oort cloud. The compact will send reinforcements. We must strike before they can organize. On Mars, orbital shipyards hummed as dark warships slid silently from their docks. Colonies on Europa and Titan activated hidden defense grids. Humanity was no longer just surviving, it was preparing to dominate. The compact scrambled to respond. Fleets were dispatched, new orders sent to survey, contain, and, if necessary, destroy the threat emerging from Earth. But the humans were always one step ahead. Using guerrilla tactics, stealth technology, and ruthless precision, the hidden human fleet struck swiftly and disappeared. Supply lines were cut, communications jammed, compact ships were destroyed without warning, and all the while Earth remained silent. The compact's scientists, desperate for answers, analyzed recovered debris from destroyed vessels. They found something extraordinary. Human soldiers enhanced. With neural mesh implants, their reflexes faster than any alien bioengineered troops. Weapons that disrupted compact AI, scrambling their calculations mid-battle. Humans have rewritten the rules of warfare, an expert declared. They fight with primal savagery and cold precision. They have embraced chaos and turned it into their greatest weapon. Then came the turning point. A direct message from Earth. broadcast on every galactic frequency, unencrypted and clear. Do not come closer. The message was simple, stark, and terrifying. Compact ships hesitated. For the first time, a sense of fear spread through the ranks of the galaxy's greatest powers. Was this a bluff? Or the warning of a race that had finally awakened? High Chancellor Ralden convened an emergency session. "We have underestimated humanity for too long," he said, voice grim. "They are no longer the frightened primitives we observed. They are organized, they are powerful, and they have the will to fight." Across the galaxy, the Compact mobilized for war, but humanity had already vanished into the darkness, preparing for the moment the galaxy would realize it had made a fatal mistake. Because when humanity finally revealed itself, it would not be as the weak species they all assumed, but as the ultimate threat. The Compact's brightest minds gathered in the sterile halls of the Celestis research station, orbiting a distant star in the core worlds. They were desperate to understand the humans, the species that had shattered centuries of assumptions, and shattered a fleet with nothing but ruthless precision and unexpected biology. Dr. Kayla Vorn, a xenoanthropologist of the Ilri species, stood before a bank of holoscreens displaying the DNA sequences recovered from captured human soldiers. The strands twisted and writhed in impossible patterns, sequences unlike anything she had ever seen. "Look at this," she said, voice trembling with awe. "Their genome is chaotic. It defies evolutionary stability." The room was silent, save for the soft hum of computing arrays. Human DNA was marked by extreme variability, a storm of genetic mutations that most species biologists would consider fatal. Yet, humans thrived. Their cells repaired damage faster than any known species. Their brains adapted at astonishing speeds, rewiring neural pathways in days. "It's as if their biology embraces instability," said another scientist, an expert in neurogenetics. "Their neurons are connected in recursive loops. They process emotions and logic simultaneously, never shutting one down. This makes their decision-making unpredictable, sometimes reckless, sometimes brilliant." Kayla nodded. "That unpredictability is a survival mechanism. Other species evolve toward equilibrium, calm, efficient, stable. Humans evolve toward chaos, and chaos breeds resilience." Across the room, a hologram flickered to life. It showed captured footage of human soldiers. In combat, swift, brutal, and utterly unorthodox. Unlike the disciplined formations of compact forces, humans fought in unpredictable bursts, improvising tactics, adapting instantly to battlefield shifts. One image stayed with Kayla, a soldier dodging plasma bolts with uncanny reflexes, then returning, fire with a railgun barely visible in the dark. The soldier's neural mesh implant glowed faintly beneath the skin, a fusion of biology and machine that enhanced every movement. Enhanced reflexes, neural implants, emotional drive, said Dr. Silas Marr, a biotechnologist. They fight not just with weapons, but with a primal obsession to win. Fear, anger, hope, all wired directly into their combat strategies. The Compact had long dismissed such primitive emotions as dangerous weaknesses. For them, logic ruled. Emotions clouded judgment and led to unnecessary conflict, but the humans had weaponized their emotional chaos. "We're dealing with a species designed to thrive in instability," Kayla concluded. "Their biology and culture feed into one another, creating an endless feedback loop of adaptation." Outside the research station's panoramic windows, the galaxy moved on, unaware of the silent storm building at the edge of known space. Compact warships buzzed like insects around the Sol system's borders, still wary of the hidden fleet. Back on Earth, a small team of bioengineers and soldiers gathered in a subterranean lab deep beneath the ruins of old New York. Commander Elena Ramirez watched as technicians injected fresh neural mesh implants into recruits, young men and women trained from childhood for war. Each implant integrates with the prefrontal cortex, enhancing reflex arcs and emotional responses. a technician explained. It makes them faster, more aware, and sharper under stress. Elena nodded. But more than that, she said, it makes them unstoppable. We don't just fight to survive. We fight to dominate. One soldier flexed, his fingers feeling the subtle electric hum beneath his skin. His eyes glinted with fierce intensity. He was part of something greater now, something the galaxy was only beginning to understand. Humanity, Elena said, is not just a race. We are a force of nature. Elsewhere in the Compact's War Council chamber, High Chancellor Ralden pored over the biological reports with grim determination. His species prided itself on logic, diplomacy, and order. Yet here was a species fueled by instinct, passion, and chaos, and worse, thriving on it. How do we fight an enemy who evolves? With every battle? Ralden asked. A military advisor answered, We cannot, not with our current tactics. The Compact's war fleets were designed for massive, predictable engagements, shimmering shields, energy weapons, tactical AI coordinating every move. But humans ignored those rules. They relied on guerrilla strikes, low-tech weaponry, and their own unpredictable instincts. Ralden's eyes darkened. Then we must learn their rules. The galaxy's future would be shaped not by superior technology alone, but by understanding humanity's chaotic genius, a terrifying blend of biology and willpower. Because when humans fought, they were not simply soldiers. They were storms breaking over the old order, destroying everything in their path and rebuilding in their own image. And the Compact was only just beginning to grasp what that meant. The Compact had underestimated humanity. That was the one truth, etched into every shattered hull and smoldering wreckage scattered near Tau Ceti. Admiral Cyril Vin, commander of the Compact patrol fleet, stared at the tactical holodisplay flickering before her. 12 warships, disciplined and gleaming with ancient Compact technology, formed a tight ring around what her intelligence had described as a single Earth freighter, traveling near the system's outer rim. Scan again, she ordered, sharply. There must be something we're missing. Her first officer shook his head grimly. Nothing. No active shields. No weapons detected. The freighter's hull shows signs of recent repair, but no signatures indicating offensive systems. Cyril frowned. Then why's the system's patrol on edge? Our sensors picked up something at the Ort cloud edge, but it vanished before we could lock on. Could be pirates, muttered the communications officer. Or a trap, Cyril countered, her voice low. The fleet closed in, cautious, but confident. Compact warships were designed for ceremonial precision and overwhelming firepower, their particle beam cannons and shield grids far superior to anything Earth was believed to wield. But Earth had long stopped broadcasting its weakness. Suddenly, the freighter shuddered. The bridge erupted in a chorus of alarms. Ambush electromagnetic pulse detected, yelled the tactical officer. One by one, Compact warships blinked off their targeting arrays as EMP bursts rippled through the fleet. Communications scrambled, shields flickered and died. Deploy countermeasures, fire at will, Cyril barked. But the enemy was nowhere to be seen. Then the real attack began. From the shadows, sleek black vessels surged forward with brutal speed, firing railguns that tore through the Compact's shields. Swarms of microdrones clouded the enemy ship's sensors, jamming targeting systems and tearing through hull plating with razor-sharp precision. Compact captains fought desperately to regroup, but the humans fought differently. Instead of disciplined formations, Earth's forces struck in unpredictable bursts, weaving through debris fields and asteroid clusters. Their neural-augmented soldiers controlled drones remotely, adapting tactics in real time, responding to threats with lightning speed and cold calculation. One Compact destroyer, the Valoran, was torn apart in seconds by a coordinated railgun volley and drone swarm. Its captain barely had time to send a distress call before the ship exploded in a brilliant fireball. "Focus fire on the lead vessel," Cyril shouted, but the lead vessel slipped away, disappearing into the dark void between stars. The battle raged for hours, with Compact ships losing ground and men at an alarming rate. Slowly, a terrifying realization dawned. Earth was no mere primitive world with outdated weapons. Humans had evolved tactics that defied every conventional doctrine of galactic warfare. Amid the chaos, a voice cut through the static over emergency channels. It was a human commander, calm, confident, and chilling. "This is Commander Elena Ramirez of the Earth Defense Fleet. You called us weak. You thought we were nothing. You were wrong. We fight to survive. We fight to dominate. And this is only the beginning." The message replayed across compact channels, sparking fear and outrage in equal measure. Cyril clenched her fists, fury boiling beneath her composed exterior. "Prepare for withdrawal," she ordered. "We will regroup and strike back with full force." But the damage was done. The compact's arrogance had been shattered, replaced by a cold, creeping dread. Back on Earth, the command center buzzed with quiet efficiency. Maps showed the battle's progress in real time, and every victory was noted with stoic pride. General Aaron Dev watched the holo feed, his eyes sharp. "They expected to crush us. They expected us to be weak," he said softly. "Instead, we taught them to fear us." Commander Ramirez joined him, her expression hard and unyielding. "This is the future of war," she said. "Not fleets of shining warships or endless fleets, but adaptability, unpredictability, and willpower. We have taken the first step toward the galaxy's reckoning." The compact scrambled to analyze the battle data, desperate to find a weakness. But humanity's greatest strength was its chaos. The genetic aberration that allowed humans to think unpredictably, to fight with raw passion and cold logic simultaneously, was impossible to anticipate or counter with rigid tactics. Elsewhere, on a small research moon, compact scientists pored over intercepted drone footage. They saw soldiers moving faster than thought possible, dodging plasma bolts with reflexes enhanced by neural implants, their weapons firing with deadly accuracy. "One," scientist whispered, "they are not just a threat, they are evolution incarnate." As night fell on the Tau Ceti system, the survivors of the compact fleet limped away, shaken and defeated. The galaxy had glimpsed the storm humanity could unleash, and the message was clear. Earth was no longer a quiet backwater. It was the ultimate threat, one no species was prepared to face. Delphi Station was the galaxy's crown jewel of knowledge, a sprawling orbital citadel housing the largest archive of data, technology, and history ever assembled. It was a place where secrets were guarded with ruthless precision, and intelligence flowed like lifeblood to the Galactic Compact's leadership. No one had ever dared threaten Delphi Station. It was untouchable, until the day it fell. The first sign of trouble was subtle, a brief, unexplained power fluctuation that rippled through the station's core systems. The Compact's security AI, an ancient sentinel known as Prometheus, detected it immediately and raised alarms. But the alerts were cryptic, difficult to interpret. "We're seeing anomalies in the data encryption," said Cybersecurity Chief Lyra Vaughn, eyes scanning her console. "Someone is probing our firewalls, no breaching them." "Activate countermeasures," ordered the station commander, Admiral Solaris. "Trace the source, isolate the intrusion." But it was already too late. Deep within Delphi's labyrinthine servers, an unseen enemy had planted a virus, an insidious self-replicating code that wormed its way through every layer of the AI's defenses. It twisted Prometheus algorithms, sowing confusion and paranoia. Suddenly, the station's turrets powered down, shields flickered, and communication arrays went dark. "Security teams report multiple system failures," Lyra said, voice tight, with tension. "It's not a malfunction, it's sabotage." On the station's observation deck, Admiral Solaris watched as compact vessels, arriving to reinforce the station, were met with eerie silence. No response to hails, no defensive fire. "Prepare boarding parties," he commanded. "We cannot lose Delphi." But the boarding teams found the station eerily deserted. Systems were operational but cold. No sign of life, no resistance. Then the human forces revealed themselves. From hidden docking bays beneath the station's massive structure, sleek black fighters poured out like swarms of locusts. Human soldiers, clad in advanced armor and neural mesh, seized control of key systems with ruthless efficiency. They moved fast, almost too fast to track. General Aaron Dev watched the operation from Earth's command center, eyes sharp with satisfaction. Delphi was a fortress of knowledge, he said. But even fortresses have weak points. We found theirs and struck. As humans hacked deeper into the station's core, Prometheus, corrupted by the virus, began broadcasting a chilling message across the compact's networks. Humanity is rewriting the rules. The AI's voice, distorted and eerie, echoed through the galaxy's comm channels, a haunting declaration of a new era. Compact leaders scrambled to respond. Fleets were dispatched, emergency protocols activated, but it was chaos. Inside Delphi, human engineers rewrote data streams, siphoning secrets of weapons, starship designs, and diplomatic communications. In hours, what had taken the compact millennia to build was gutted, transformed into tools of human advantage. The station's defense grid, once impenetrable, now turned against its former masters. Automated turrets targeted incoming compact ships, destroying them with brutal efficiency. The compact's pride shattered. Admiral Solaris, trapped in a command node, fought to regain control. "Recall all fleets," he ordered desperately. "Delphi is lost. We must regroup." But the damage was done. Across the galaxy, news of Delphi's fall spread like wildfire, sowing panic and disbelief. In the Galactic Council, High Chancellor Ralden sat in stunned silence. The loss of Delphi was not just a military defeat. It was a symbolic blow that threatened the very foundation of the compact. "They have breached our sanctum," he murmured. "What else can they take?" Back on Earth, General Dev allowed himself a rare smile. "Delphi was the key to their knowledge," he said. "Now it's ours. The compact will never recover." Commander Elena Ramirez stood beside him, eyes cold with resolve. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We've shown the galaxy that no fortress is safe. No secret is beyond our reach." The compact's greatest stronghold had fallen not by force alone, but by cunning, chaos, and relentless innovation. As the corrupted Prometheus AI transmitted its final message before shutting down, the galaxy understood that the rules of war and power had changed forever. Humanity was no longer the hunted, it was the hunter, and the hunt had only just begun. The galaxy had never seen such upheaval. The fall of Delphi Station was a shockwave felt across countless star systems. Entire fleets were scrambling, alliances shifting, and the once unchallenged Galactic Compact was on the defensive for the first time in millennia. High Chancellor Ralden convened an emergency summit on Seldara Prime. Representatives from every major power, including the fractured remnants of the Compact's member species, gathered in the Grand Hall, a place where history had often been written in whispers and compromises. Now, it was a crucible for desperate decisions. "We stand at a crossroads," Ralden declared, his voice carrying the weight of lost pride and looming dread. "Humanity has broken our defenses, shattered our knowledge, and revealed our vulnerabilities. If we do not act now, the galaxy will fall." The council was divided. Some argued for peace talks, believing humans might be reasoned with. Others called for total war, advocating for a crushing retaliation that would wipe Earth from the stars. But a new voice rose amid the chaos, a diplomat from the Valtar Dominion, a race famed for its cunning and shadow wars. "There is another way," she said calmly. "We cannot win by force alone. Humanity's strength lies in its unpredictability and chaos, but chaos can be manipulated. We propose a gambit." Ralden's eyes sharpened. "Explain." The Valtar envoy revealed a bold plan: to lure humanity into a controlled conflict on a remote, resource-rich system. There, the Compact would deploy a massive fleet, hidden and ready to trap the human forces once they took the bait. "It is a game of patience," she explained. "We use their aggression against them. We channel their chaotic strikes into a decisive battle where we have the advantage. Some council members murmured approval, but others remained skeptical. General Arun Dev received the intelligence with cool interest on Earth. His command center monitored the Compact's movements as the vast fleet quietly mobilized toward the system known as Tarsus Gamma. An ambush? Ramirez asked, narrowing her eyes. They think we'll walk into their trap. Aaron smiled thinly. They're wrong. We've anticipated this. We will turn their gambit into our victory. Human. Warships slipped through the void toward Tarsus Gamma, accompanied by fast strike crafts and stealth drones. The humans operated like a well-oiled machine, each pilot and soldier connected through their neural meshes, anticipating each other's moves without speaking a word. As they neared the system, the Compact's fleet emerged from the darkness, hundreds of warships arranged in a tight net, shimmering shields bristling with energy weapons primed to annihilate. Admiral Sorel Vin, reinstated after the Tau Ceti debacle, commanded the Compact Armada. She was determined to end this war with a single crushing blow. Engage full sensors, she ordered. Prepare for the kill. But the humans did not rush blindly into the trap. Instead, their fleet split into smaller, faster groups that darted around the outer asteroids and moons, probing for weak points in the Compact's formation. They deployed decoys, electronic countermeasures, and drone swarms to confuse and disrupt enemy sensors. Then, when the Compact focused its firepower on one section, the humans struck somewhere else. Fighters zipped through gaps in the fleet, launching surprise attacks on command ships and supply vessels. Neural-augmented soldiers infiltrated remote outposts, sabotaging weapons and communications. It was guerrilla warfare on a galactic scale. Admiral Vin's frustration grew. They are everywhere and nowhere. They use chaos against us. On the ground at Tarsus Gamma's largest moon, human commanders coordinated their strikes with precision and creativity. Commander Ramirez directed a special operations team to seize the planet's orbital weapon platform, a massive cannon capable of blasting ships out of orbit. As human forces moved in, the Compact responded with overwhelming force. Warships unleashed torrents of plasma and missiles, turning the moon's surface into a hellscape of fire and ruin. But humanity's will held strong. Ramirez's team, equipped with enhanced exosuits and neural implants, fought through the chaos, disabling Compact defenses with ruthless efficiency. Hold the platform, Ramirez ordered. We need that cannon online. Back in space, the tide of battle shifted. The orbital cannon roared to life, firing concentrated blasts that tore through the Compact's shielded vessels. The Compact fleet began to falter. High Chancellor Ralden watched from his command throne, his face pale. This is not how it ends, he murmured. But humanity's gambit was working. They had turned the Compact's trap into a battlefield, where unpredictability, speed, and resolve tipped the scales. As the final salvo from the orbital cannon struck the Compact flagship, it erupted in a fiery explosion visible across the system. Admiral Vin gave the order to retreat. The Compact had lost the Battle of Tarsus Gamma, but the war was far from over. General Dev and Commander Ramirez watched the retreating fleet with cold eyes. We've sent a message, Dev said quietly. The galaxy will know that humanity is not to be trifled with. Ramirez nodded. And we will keep fighting, until the Compact learns that chaos is our greatest weapon. The defeat at Tarsus Gamma sent shockwaves through the Galactic Compact. But it was not just a military setback. It was a political earthquake. In the ornate halls of the Compact's capital world, Viridon Prime, whispers turned to murmurs and murmurs to open dissent. Member worlds, once loyal under the banner of order and unity, began questioning their allegiance. Councillor Hektal of the Karvath Assembly sat in a dim chamber, his sharp eyes watching the broadcast of the retreating fleet. He knew the Compact's grip was weakening. The humans, with their unpredictable tactics and ferocious will, had shattered the illusion of invincibility. Something must be done, Hektal muttered. But the High Chancellor is paralyzed by fear. We need new leadership, someone willing to embrace change. Meanwhile, in the underworld of Veridan Prime's sprawling cities, rebellion brewed. Factions tired of the Compact's rigid hierarchy and endless war began to see humanity as a symbol of defiance, a spark to ignite their own causes. One such faction was the Crimson Veil, a secretive group led by a charismatic and ruthless figure, known only as Sina. To her followers, humans were the embodiment of the chaos the Compact feared, a force of natural evolution against the stagnant order. Sina stood before a crowd in a shadowed underground chamber. Her voice was electric. The Compact fears what it cannot control. Humanity is the future, and we will be its heralds. The galaxy will burn if we do not seize this moment. Her followers erupted in cheers. Back on Earth, General Aaron Dev monitored transmissions intercepted from the Compact worlds. The fractures within the Empire were clear. Some systems had already begun refusing orders. Others were secretly supplying human forces. Divide and conquer, Dev mused. The Compact's strength lies in its unity. If that unity breaks, their power collapses. Commander Elena Ramirez joined him in the war room, her expression grim but determined. We've won battles, but the war is larger now. It's not just about fleets and weapons. It's about the hearts and minds of billions. The humans began. Covert operations deep within Compact territory, sending agents and sympathizers to foment dissent and sabotage. On Veridan Prime, Sina's Crimson Veil launched a daring strike against a Compact communications hub. The attack was swift and brutal, severing links between fleet commands and throwing the region into chaos. Compact security forces scrambled, but the damage was done. The rebellion was no longer just a rumor, it was a force. High Chancellor Ralden found himself isolated. Trusted advisors vanished or turned against him. The once unified council fractured along ideological lines, some advocating brutal suppression, others urging negotiation with the rebels and even humans. In the midst of this turmoil, a new threat emerged: rogue warlords who sought to carve their own domains from the ruins of the Compact's power. One such warlord, the merciless Krith Zan, rallied mercenary fleets and ex-Compact soldiers. He declared himself the new ruler of the outer sectors, promising protection from both human and Compact oppression. Though his true goal was simple: power. General Dev's analysts warned of Krith Zan's growing influence. He could turn this war into a three-way conflict, they said. But Dev saw opportunity. Let him divide their forces further, he said. Chaos is our ally. In a remote briefing room, Commander Ramirez received an urgent message. A Compact warlord fleet had been spotted near the disputed Elysian Belt, threatening to blockade vital supply routes to human colonies. We cannot afford to fight them all, Ramirez said. We must choose our battles. Then we strike at the heart, Dev replied. Target their leadership, cut off the head, and the body will falter. Ramirez nodded. A surgical strike. It's risky, but it could change everything. As plans were laid, the galaxy simmered on the edge of collapse. The Compact's empire was fracturing, rebels and warlords rising, and humanity's storm growing stronger. But in the shadows, a question lingered. Could the humans control the chaos they had unleashed? Or would the galaxy drown in it? Because, in the game of power, shadows often hide the deadliest threats and the brightest opportunities. The galaxy held its breath. After years of brutal conflict, shifting alliances, and fractured empires, the final showdown was at hand. The Compact's once unshakable dominion lay in ruins, its fleet scattered, and its political structures crumbling. Yet, the question remained: what would rise from the ashes? General Aaron Dev stood on the command deck of the Valiant Horizon, Earth's flagship, as the massive combined fleet prepared for the decisive battle in the Elysian Belt. Beside him, Commander Elena Ramirez reviewed the final mission briefings. This is it, she said quietly. Strike the warlord Krith Zan's stronghold. Without him, the Compact's remnants will fall apart completely. Dev nodded, eyes steady. And with the Compact broken, humanity can lead the galaxy, by force or by diplomacy. The Valiant. Horizon slipped through the void, its crew tense but resolute. The stakes had never been higher. Meanwhile, Krith Zan, the ruthless warlord, surveyed his armada from the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Vulture. His reputation for merciless tactics had earned him loyalty and fear alike. He was determined to seize power amid the chaos, to become the ultimate ruler of the fractured galaxy. "They come for me," Krith Zan snarled, "but I will not fall so easily." The battle erupted with ferocity. Human and mercenary ships clashed in a storm of laser fire, missile barrages, and evasive maneuvers. The Elysian Belt, once a quiet cluster of asteroids and outposts, became a maelstrom of destruction. Ramirez led the boarding teams personally, dropping onto Krith Zan's flagship with neural-linked soldiers. The close-quarters combat was brutal. Lightning-fast reflexes and relentless aggression turned the halls of the Iron Vulture into a deadly battleground. Krith Zan's guards fought fiercely, but humanity's will was unyielding. In the throne room, Ramirez faced Krith Zan, a towering figure clad in battle-worn armor. The warlord's eyes burned with fury, but beneath the rage was something else, a flicker of doubt. "Why do you fight so hard?" he growled. "Your people destroyed our empire." "We fight because we must," Ramirez replied. "Because the galaxy deserves a future, not endless war." Their duel was brutal but brief. Ramirez's training and enhancements gave her the edge, and with a final strike, Krith Zan fell. With their leader gone, the mercenary fleets fractured, retreating into the outer sectors. Back aboard the Valiant Horizon, Dev and Ramirez received transmissions from the remaining compact factions. Many surrendered, seeking peace rather than extinction. The Galactic Council was rebuilt, but this time it was different. Humanity's representatives sat alongside former compact species, forging a new order, one based on cooperation, respect, and vigilance. General Dev addressed the assembly, his voice carrying hope and warning. "We have seen what chaos can bring and what courage can overcome. Let this new order be a testament to unity, strength, and the relentless spirit of humanity." Commander Ramirez smiled faintly. "The galaxy is wide and wild. There will be challenges ahead. But now we stand together, as one." Far from the halls of power, in quiet corners of space, humans and former enemies alike began rebuilding. Trade routes reopened, scientific exchange flourished, and old wounds slowly healed. Humanity had become the galaxy's ultimate threat, not because they sought destruction, but because they brought change born from chaos, determination, and the unyielding hope for a better tomorrow. And as stars burned bright in the vast cosmic sea, a new chapter began, one written not in conquest, but in unity. The dawn of a new order. The end.